So it looks like we're finally here. Let's see. The Death-Brand. Death-Brand, a pirate's tale. Haknir Death-Brand was dying. For Garrick Windrime, ship's quartermaster, it was unthinkable. His grandfather had served under Haknir, nigh on 60 years before, and even then, he was a legend among pirates of the north. The king of ghosts, they called him, as eternal and pitiless as the sea he sailed. To Garrick, who had seen him charged into battle, clad in armor, gleaming stark, like the kings of old, his twin swords, scything, men like grass. Haknir was practically a god, but none feared Haknir more than his own crew. They knew his rages, his fits of madness, how he delighted in torture and murder for its own sake. And there were even darker rumors. Some said he fed upon the blood of souls and of those he killed to extend his unnatural life. Some thought him of a danger, loosed up the mortal worlds. And others said he owed his life and power, his own armor and swords to a pact with Dagon, Prince of Destruction. And the seal of that pact was the terrible wound that scarred his face, never to heal, the Death-Brand, which no man could look upon without flinching. All these things ran through Garrick's mind as he took his place on deck at the head of the crew, exchanging a curt nod with Thalin, the ship's helmsman, and his chief rival. By sundown, he thought one of them would be captain, the other would be dead. When Haknir finally emerged from his cabin, the crew fell silent. He looked frail, his voice raspy, but even so, he had a presence about him. As he looked over his men, the most brutal murderers ever to ply the northern seas, not one could meet his gaze. At last he sighed. You wish to know who will be my successor, and how my share of treasure shall be divided? That was the question. But even so, there was murmurs, protest. Haknir cut them off. All these years, I have looked for one who was worthy to take my place, or strong enough to take it from me. Not one of you even comes close, and so none of you shall have it. He extended his hand. In Dagon's name, I place a curse upon my armor and my swords, this ship and all it carries, until the day when one of you can best me in combat. You shall have not a single coin. He looked up at them. Be grateful. I have left you with our lives. Garak and Dalin shared a single glance. Had anyone else said such a thing, there would have been a mutiny. 100 treasures. Mad pirates against an old man. But this was Haknir. The crew was silent. Haknir threw a map at Garak's feet. Garak, take a longbow and bury my armor in the places I have marked. Dalin, we have sailed to my tomb, where you shall leave me with my gold and bury your ships. Then burn your ships, and do as you will. I am your captain no more. And with that, he turned and stalked back to his quarters. At daybreak, Garak took his leave and set out in a longboat with 3 of his men. They landed on a shoal to the north of Solstar. At the place Haknir had marked, made camp. They began to dig, but already greed stirred in Garak's heart. Time and again, he glanced at the iron-bound chests they had brought with them. The old man was gone, perhaps already dead. His orders foolish. That night, Garak pried open the chest and drew out the helm within. Sulfur shimmered in the moonlight. It was time for a new king of the ghosts to rise. He placed the helmet on his head, and he screamed. It is said you can hear that screaming still on moonlight nights, on the rocky shoal of the north coast of Solstar. Postscripts. This story is one of the last in the Haknir saga, the tale surrounding the life and adventures of the legendary pirate king, Haknir Death-Brand. How much of it is actually true, if indeed any of it is true, I leave that to the reader's discretion. Artige Dralin, House Reverend Scribe. Well, my friend, it looks like we've made it to the tomb, and we've seen the treasure. We cannot leave this place because the door behind us is locked. And it appears that this is Haknir Death-Brand. We also have his armor on. We searched around with his map, his trusty Death-Brand treasure map. So, maybe those legends were true. And here is his sword. I'll take that. It's Haknir. Haknir. Haknir.
Who's there?
He just bring the skeleton to the light. Oh my god, he brought his dead body left. I do. Get your crew out of here. That's some horse. Shut up! Get out of the way, Brand. You fucking in my way. You shooting me. Oh, she over here stabbing her.
Tough day for you.
There you go. Yeah, I know, right?
You can never truly stop me.
Shut up. There you go. Is that all of them? No, there you go. He's back.
Who's this?
Get out of here, boy. Just a ghost. This supposed to. Whoa, that's a whoa. Sorry. Eat this, guard. They running? They scared? Oh, they scared. This one keep running. Running, bitch. That's supposed to be tough. Improve. You straight ran through him.
Teamwork right there.
Where you at, Haknir?
Bruce?
I just keep
Where'd
throwing
you
his ass back. Die! Ghost. Yeah, soul gem in him. Willed it with blood sight. So we have two of his swords. Blood Scythe. Absorb 15 health. Has a chance to weaken enemy armor. So like weakness to attacks. Blood Scythe and Soul.